Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We will make a start with our webinar today on using Compass Plus to support compliance with the updated statutory guidance for careers. One of our biggest titles and title webinars, I think this one. But thank you for bearing with us there for a moment while we just waited for some of the registered participants to join the session today. Just for those that are on the call, or for anybody that isn't, there will be a copy of the webinar sent out in the post-session comms. So today's webinar is being recorded and everyone will still receive a copy of this in the post-session comms. So just getting started for today, I'm just going to move that over to the side there. So to introduce ourselves, so we've got a few people on the session today. So myself, Peter McKinney, I am a Compass Plus trainer and I lead on our virtual delivery program. I also support on our face-to-face delivery. So some of you that are on the webinar today may already have seen, met or heard me in the past. Joining me today, I've got Francis and Tamid. Francis, would you like to maybe just come on and say hello first, and then Tamid, if you could as well, that would be great.
Hi everyone. So yeah, I'm Francis. I'm the customer content manager at the CEC. So I look after all of our content and training for our suite of digital products, which covers Compass Plus. So I will be talking through a few slides today, which is very exciting. So you'll see me again soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Francis. And Tamid?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tamid. I'm a part of CAC and I'm this customer service advisor. If you guys have any questions regarding today's session, please do leave it in the Q&A down below and I'll be more than happy to help. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Tamid, and also thanks, Francis. So yeah, so like Francis said, I'm going to be doing a little bit of code delivery with Francis. There are a few slides that need her attention and explanation. So she's going to be going through a couple of slides. And also just to reiterate what Tamid mentioned there, that if you do have any questions, I'm just going to put it out there. Today is quite an information heavy webinar. And so if there are any questions, if there are any queries, any concerns, anything that you're not sure of, please feel free to drop any questions in the Q&A and the group chat, and both Francis and Tamid will work their way through them. Please also keep an eye out. I'm sure that both Francis and Tamid will be dropping links to various parts and articles within Compass Plus as well during the webinar. So just to give you a couple of the learning objectives, these are what we want you to take away from today. So we want you to get an overview of the updates of the statutory guidance, understand how the functionality within Compass Plus can help support with your compliance, again, towards some of the updates in that statutory guidance, and then also to know where to access further training. So we always leave time at the end of our webinars and our face-to-face delivery to provide you with that support and that information on where, if you do need it, you can find it and access it to help you move forward. So just a few learning objectives that we want you to take away from today. Okay, so let's get started, everybody. And I'm just going to turn off my camera so I can see the full screen. So lovely, like it says there, a little gentle reminder. So today's webinar, like it's got on there, is going to focus on the functionality in Compass Plus and how that aligns with the updated statutory guidance. So this is not a revisiting of all the different areas of Compass Plus. It is purely focusing on the areas that within the new statutory guidance where you can then find those areas of functionality within the product and then start to try and match the two up. So we've only got an hour to get through everything. We have lots of help center articles if there are other areas that you want to develop your knowledge, expertise, and understanding of. So please feel free to explore those within the help center or some of the previous webinar recordings as well. And certainly, if you do want to pop any questions in the group chat and the Q&A, Tamid and Francis will absolutely do their best to work through those today. So just that was a little nod in the direction of today's webinar is purely going to be focused around aligning the new statutory guidance for careers and where that can be found and utilized within Compass Plus as a product. Okay, so that's enough from me. So Francis is going to talk us through this first slide around the benchmark. So Francis, over to you.
Lovely. Thanks, Peter. So on the left there, we've got a bit of a timeline. So that timeline shows the progress in relation to both the updated Gatsby benchmarks and the impact that the updates to those had on the statutory guidance. Essentially, the statutory guidance has been updated to reflect the updates to the Gatsby benchmarks, which are both effective from September 2025. So reading through the statutory guidance, when it was published there on the 8th of May, we identified that there was a lot of Compass Plus functionality that aligned to the updates, and that functionality could be used effectively to meet the requirements that were set out in the guidance. We started to map excerpts of the guidance to specific functionality that could be found in product. Then we looked at the CEC at a glance guide for school leaders and did the same. So we mapped the functionality to the different elements of careers leadership that is in that at a glance guide. And then finally, we wanted to deliver a webinar that would walk you through some functionality that had the broadest reach. So essentially the functionality that had been mapped across multiple benchmarks within the updated guidance. So just to go through some of that support available there under June in the timeline. So as Peter mentioned, a recording of the webinar will be available in the post-session comms. You'll get a link to that after the webinar. It will also be on Help Centre. Also, it will be in a Help Centre article that I will talk a little bit more about later. So just to set some context there around the statutory guidance, as with the last publication of the guidance, the DfE have referred to things you must do and things you should do. So as per the definition in the guidance, the term must, M-U-S-T, must, is used when the person in question is legally required to do something, and the term should is used when the advice should be followed, unless there is a good reason not to. So in preparation for today's session, I did a quick search in the guidance, and the word must is mentioned 31 times, and the word should is mentioned 206 times. So I feel that this indicates that the guidance is a great place to start to consider the developments and updates you could make to your careers programme to ensure that it's fit for purpose and underpinned by the meaningful achievement of all 8 Gatsby benchmarks. So in the webinar, we're going to cover a selection of the musts identified throughout the guidance and the Compass Plus functionality that can help you to achieve those. And then we're going to look at the shoulds. So the shoulds identified in each of the Gatsby benchmarks, and again, the Compass Plus functionality that can help you to achieve those requirements. As we go through the webinar, you'll see that there's certain functionality that's mapped across multiple benchmarks. As Peter did say, it's a pretty hefty session, so do not forget to pop anything in the Q&A, pop any queries or concerns, questions, etc. in the Q&A. Do add questions and queries as we go, and myself and Tamid can pop some links in the chat to relevant guidance at the appropriate time. So over to you, Peter. Thank you very much.
Lovely, thanks, Francis. So yeah, I mean, just to reiterate there, a lot of musts, a lot of shoulds, and we're going to try and cover some of those today to give you a better understanding of where they would fit within the functionality of Compass Plus. So let's make a start. And again, I'm not going to be reading, certainly on the next few slides. I'm not going to be reading these word for word, everyone. I appreciate you can all read and you don't need me to do that for you. What I'm going to do is kind of contextualize where we feel these areas of the new statutory guidance, where they then fit to the different areas and the different parts of functionality within Compass Plus. And we're going to have them highlight, like you can see here, activities, careers, partners, and future skills questionnaire. And they will then map to each of these reference point that Francis has created within the slide deck. So just starting with this slide here. So we're looking at the activities reporting section, which helps to sort of meet those parts of careers legislation and provider access legislation. So using the send filter in your reporting to identify your learners within EHCP. Then you can also use that to check if a personal guidance meeting has been added into the activity section. The send filter itself, everybody, is also available in the learner reporting and the future skills reporting too. Looking at the provider access legislation, certainly within your activities, you can use your activity section to build out that comprehensive record of planned and completed careers activities by prefixing some of your activities with the acronym of PAL. That helps with the sort of identification of those activities that do meet that part of the legislation. So using activities reporting then, which is within the activities part of the product, using the activities reporting function, then you can then filter onto activities that comply with sort of PAL legislation. Looking at our careers partners now as well. So when adding a new careers partner in, there is a function or sort of editing or even adding new or existing careers partners in. You can tick a box that flags if the provider delivers activities that comply with PAL. So again, when you are then doing an advanced search on your providers, if you're creating an activity and you're wanting to attach a partner to that particular activity, you can do you can apply a filter and a search on those businesses and those employers that deliver PAL compliant activities. So again, another nice nod in the direction of that provider access legislation. We've got the future skills questionnaire as well, so we can look at the responses to measure our learners' understanding of ATE pathways. We can identify gaps, and then we can also tailor activities to meet these as well. So a few different areas just to get us started with how they can then map to the new statutory guidance. So again, another word heavy slide, but you can obviously peruse this at your leisure in the post session comms. So we are looking at sort of the publishing information about your careers program. So using future skills questionnaire, it allows you to monitor progress over time, and this can then be used to evidence the impact that your careers program has had on your learners' careers readiness. So you could consider including an overview of FSQ responses per cohort and what you intend to do after delivering FSQ as part of the information available on your website. So a really useful tool to use. Using the FSQ reporting, so we've got the different reporting functions, the summary, the detailed, and the custom reporting functions. You can support, or you can use these to support your careers program by drilling down into specific responses per cohort, looking at particular key characteristics, maybe, the sort of free school meals, your pupil premium, those type of learners, and then you can use those to be able to identify information about your careers program and how that is being used to support your learners. Looking at the careers guidance for learners with SEND now. So again, filtering on your SEND characteristics in a range of reporting functions that are available within product, things like future skills questionnaire, learner activities. You can apply filters to SEND specific learners. Using the future skills questionnaire responses, you can use these to support conversations more around the aspirations of your learners and maybe their next steps. And then you could certainly look at using that for personal guidance meetings and EHCP reviews as well. So depending on the information that's coming out of the questionnaires, that is really helpful, really beneficial to support those particular aspects of careers guidance. We could also consider adding future skills questionnaire responses to a section into vocational profiles. So as the questionnaire itself, it effectively captures that learner voice. So we can then start to analyze, vocational profiles that will be suitable for our learners. Learners can complete the SEND version, which is the same across all ages, all key stages, and all year groups, or the relevant key stage version if you feel that is more suitable for them. So again, we always say, certainly with the future skills questionnaire, use your professional judgment. You know your learners so much better than what we do, and it's can be down to you sometimes to decide if a different version of the future skills questionnaire will be more appropriate for your learners. So using the learner's individual learner profile, certainly within this section for the careers guidance for learners with SEND, using learner's individual learner profile, you can get an overview of careers interventions per academic year. So you can also check to see if the learner has had any personal guidance meetings that could be captured and held within the product as well. And it's also good practice to add these into Compass Plus as individual learner activities. So when you do have those one-to-one guidance conversations and then start to log and track that data, then it's really important that you can then log that. And certainly now we are kind of leaning into the direction of the careers guidance at the bottom right. we can do that there as well. Okay, so this is one of a few DFE slides that we are using in acknowledgement of what they are saying within the statutory guidance. So the first one here is referenced in the statutory guidance is around working towards achieving the Gatsby benchmarks, and it's critical. It is a critical part of developing an inclusive and equitable careers program that will meet the needs of all of your learners. And the quote here from DFE, obviously, sorry, that's a poor choice of words, but you can acknowledge that it leans in towards the recommendation for using Compass Plus as a great tool to capture that information in order to sort of help monitor and track against that benchmark achievement. So that is one of a few that you're going to see in terms of quotes and acknowledgements towards the DFE's recommendations. Okay, so just a quick reminder, not that I think you will need it here, but just a quick reminder of the Gatsby benchmarks that are there on the left. I don't think anybody will have forgotten them or will be likely to forget them, but just as a reminder, the Gatsby benchmarks are there on the left. They haven't changed following the Gatsby 10 review. The definition of particular benchmarks have been refined, however, and also enhanced as part of a continuous improvement effort to ensure careers guidance remains meaningful, it remains inclusive and aligned with the evolving needs of young people and the modern workforce as well. So the Compass evaluation, it's embedded within Compass and Compass Plus. It is itself an evaluation tool that helps institutions, yourselves, quickly and easily evaluate your careers activity against the 8 Gatsby benchmarks. So just a little reminder here now that we strongly encourage completion by the 31st of July. So for this term's Compass evaluation, if you haven't already done that, we strongly encourage completion by the 31st of July. That's not to say that's the ultimate cutoff, because the system will still be open for Compass evaluations until the 31st of August, after which point though there will be no new evaluations for this academic year that can be recorded in Compass or Compass Plus. So as you can see in the screenshot here, the Compass evaluation sits within, and if I just use my arrow, sits within the evaluation section of Compass Plus. And there is also then another impact evaluation tool in there. And this is where you can then record your responses to an internal leadership review if you haven't already started to do that. That is just underneath the Compass evaluation there. Now, here we are. Here's our second recommendation from DFE. So we certainly appreciate everybody that is on the session today. We appreciate that you will absolutely be at different points of your career's impact system journey. Completing an internal leadership review is something that the DFE strongly recommends within the updated statutory guidance. So to find out more about the internal leadership review, please do watch our latest webinar recording on the Compass Plus Help Centre page. This goes into more detail around the whole preparatory information that you need to carry out, and how you can then enter the responses, and then from that how you can then really analyze that data and that information and see what that suggests in terms of action plans and developments for your schools. So if we now move on to sort of the next part, we're going to get into the detail for each benchmark. We're going to highlight where the key functionality in Compass Plus aligns with it, and how you can use it effectively within your practice, and certainly within the updated statutory requirements. Okay, so here we go, kicking off with benchmark 1 and 2. And again, we've put on here the elements or the areas or the functionality of Compass Plus to which we feel sits and maps nicely alongside benchmark 1 and 2. So certainly for benchmark 1, entering benchmark 1 activities within the product, you can edit and amend these at any time. Prefixing activities to easily identify parental engagement, personal guidance meetings, or PAL compliant activities is almost a must, and it allows you to keep a systematic record of careers activities all in one place. Evaluation side of things, using your compass evaluations and your internal leadership review. This can be used to help you to monitor and to track development. You can easily, certainly within both, you can easily download and share results and responses with key stakeholders. So, you know, people like SLT, governors, potentially Ofsted, parents. You can do this via the website as well. Learners can also get internal comms. They can be shared on career notice boards or even newsletters. Moving down another one into the Future Skills Questionnaire. So delivering the Future Skills Questionnaire, this allows you to gather from learners their authentic learner voice, and it allows you to gauge their current understanding of careers and their careers readiness. It allows you to track the learner progress over time. So when FSQ is embedded and it's launched into your careers program within your schools, it allows you to sort of track that progress over, you know, your key stages and your ages, you know, 7, 8, 9, that type of thing. Looking at your benchmark 2 here, so learning from career and labour market information. So this would fit nicely alongside our careers partners. So employers, as you will hopefully well know, employers are a great source of labour market information. They come with up-to-date knowledge of their industry and their sector and their experience, as you would expect. So by ensuring any employers that deliver careers activities to your learners and making sure that they're added to your careers partners database. Now, within the careers partners section, there is new functionality that has just been introduced. And within the careers partners this year, it allows you now to capture careers partners into a spreadsheet and then upload that directly into Compass Plus. So that ensures that all of your contacts can be stored safely and securely in a scalable database. We like to call it your little black book. There are a suite of help center articles, again, also for those that haven't experienced using that part of Careers Partners. There is a suite of help center articles that can help explain how to use Careers Partners a lot further if you need that support. Okay, so benchmark 3, a whole slide to itself because of its importance, really. So again, you can see on the right-hand side here, there's multiple areas of Compass Plus that maps against benchmark 3 and the sort of updated statutory guidance. So future skills questionnaire just to get things going, reviewing your learners' responses effectively. This can help you identify any concerns about barriers or blockers to career progression from that individual learner perspective. So if a learner, and you've got the option and the ability to be able to do this, if a learner answers mostly negative or mostly negatively to the responses throughout the questionnaire, this allows you to look at this data and then start to have that conversation and provide and address the needs of that particular learner. Reviewing learner responses to the questions that they ask around careers, interests, and aspirations. This will certainly highlight possible destinations learners are keen on to pursue. And again, you can then explore that further and you could map that into other areas of the product around activities and careers partners. Looking at the FSQ questions about learner aspirations and intended destinations, it can provide or help provide a benchmark or a starting point for you to be able to measure that progress against. And then you can identify the gaps in where your learners' knowledge and understanding are as well. If appropriate, you could ask the learners with SEND within your schools and your institutions to complete the FSQ, and you can include their responses in their vocational profile as well. You could ask LAC to complete future skills questionnaire to measure the career readiness. So again, like I just mentioned, identifying where your learners feel they are in terms of their career readiness and next steps and progressions. And then you can support with any gaps that are identified as a result. We can look at FSQ responses and how they may be able to identify learners that may be in your institution that might be at risk of becoming NEET. So potentially mostly negative responses to lots of questions could identify this. There are certain questions that look at next steps, and if they've been answered quite negatively, they could identify certainly learners that may be at risk of becoming NEET as well. And again, allowing you to support the individual needs of all of your learners. So the data in FSQ is so valuable and so powerful. It really has got a diverse I'm going to say a skill set, but it's got a diverse range in which it can support you. Moving on to activities, certainly again now for addressing the needs of each of our learners, recording learner participation in careers activities entering them directly into Compass Plus. This allows you to be able to track and monitor what learners have got activities mapped against their profile, what learners have missed out. There's the option and the opportunity now to use the activities upload template, or you can also import from a partner platform. And again, there's help and support and guidance within Help Center and the articles within Compass Plus to support with that if you're not sure how to do it. Consider, prefixing activities. I know we've mentioned this earlier, but prefixing activities with agreed terms that can help highlight personal guidance meetings, that type of thing. So anywhere where you have that one-to-one advice that may be given to a learner, prefixing that with certain acronyms can help identify where you're doing that and carrying that out within your institution. You've got creating the option to create the learner report and share that with the learner. So another relatively new area of Compass Plus is the learner report, where you can then share all of the learner data with that individual learner. You've got the option to be able to reduce what data you share with that learner from what's housed within their learner profile. That would come down to obviously your own personal choice and preference, depending on what is it you needed the learner to look at. We've also got the activities reporting. So this looks at attendance data, not verbatim, just attendance data, but it looks at attendance data. And that can then also help you identify learners that might be at risk of becoming NEET. If you've got that trend of learners not attending sessions, and then cross-referencing attendance to specific careers partners. Into the learner profile now, so we can review activities to see the comprehensive record of all the activities that learners have taken part in, and been assigned to and mapped to in terms of all the benchmarks. We've got the interest and destinations. So if you enter interest and destinations into or information into your product, this can then be reviewed. You can use filters in the learner report to flag those learners whose interests and destinations may be a concern. By entering information in the post 16 and post 18 intended and actual destinations, this can allow you to sort of monitor the destination data of your learners and maybe to identify either gaps or trends in that as well. Within the learner report, we can look at information that you want to include in the learner report. So I just kind of touched on that earlier. So you can share specific information, maybe around activities, interests and destinations, future skills questionnaire responses. Depending on what it is that you want to share with that learner, you absolutely can. And that learner, again, in time can then maybe share that with parents or carers and just allow them to see all of the wonderful things that you do for them and how you support them. That is an option as well. And then finally here, the groups. So these are our custom groups. And this is a great part of Compass Plus that could possibly be not utilized enough, but custom groups allows you to address learners across all academic years. So it's not just one particular year group that would benefit from some targeted support. So you could create a custom group and then you can attach particular learners to these groups and then map them against particular benchmarks. And then you can use the learner report to share that information with the learners as well. But the custom groups is a really, really valuable part of the product. Okay, so here's our third acknowledgement. So again, I know we just mentioned the Future Skills Questionnaire, but just from a DFE perspective, the Future Skills Questionnaire is another feature in Compass Plus that is strongly recommended by DFE. We have a package of support available to help you effectively deliver FSQ in your setting, plus support to analyze that data and evaluate that data once that has been rolled out and responses have started to come into your Compass Plus account. If you are keen to deliver FSQ by the end of the academic year, it's certainly not too late. There's never a bad time to roll out the FSQ, and that data and information, no matter what time of the academic year it is available to you, is always going to be useful. If you do want to take up on the offer that I've just talked about, please just reply to the post-session comms, the email that you get sent out, which will you receive sort of maybe later today or certainly at some point this week. If you just email and say that you want to ask for FSQ support, certainly a member of our team, it may even be myself, we'll get back in touch with you and we will then arrange a one-to-one and then provide that support to you. So moving on to benchmark 4, 5, and 6. So again, continuing along this theme of mapping the particular statutory guidance to elements of Compass Plus. So again, looking at our activities. So activities are really, really key. They can support curriculum staff to identify where careers are already happening, or certainly you can support curriculum staff to identify where activities and careers are already happening within their curriculum, and then getting them to add relevant activities into product. So if it's appropriate in your setting, you could encourage and support curriculum staff to enter careers activities themselves. So with a little bit of help and guidance and support from yourself, they can then become competent in doing that and taking that weight off your shoulders. Alternatively, you could get them to use the activities upload template, which is just a spreadsheet that aligns, which may align better with your institution's way of working. So again, they can populate that spreadsheet, information can be uploaded into product. Looking at the Compass evaluation, so it's just really to note that there are questions in the current Compass evaluation that highlight areas to do with maths, English, science, PSHE, and certainly asking if the learners have experienced curriculum learning that highlights the relevance of those future career paths. Looking at 5 and 6 now, add an employer encounters and experience of the workplace as activities in Compass Plus. You could consider prefixing that with a suitable term to make it easy for you to be able to review and certainly filter on the activities data when you want to then download and export that data from Compass Plus. Prefixing it with the relevant terms will be really helpful. You could add learners part-time work. So this is a really helpful part. You could add learners part-time work as an activity into Compass Plus, as you can enter activities that allows you to enter activities that span over a period of time and not just, a day or an afternoon. So it's important to note that schools, colleges, and ITPs can take into account any part-time work that a young person may have if it genuinely does offer a meaningful experience as well. And then our careers partner section. So again, ensuring employers have been added into your careers partners database, like I mentioned before, really important that we have that diverse spread of businesses and employees that are going to support your careers program, and that you've got all of their details recorded into the careers partners database. And then the more information in the careers partner section that you put, the better it is for you when you start to analyze that data. So you can, add in to the support with mock interviews, work experience, careers fairs, etc. It will be helpful for you in the long run. And then another nod in the direction of FSQ. So just consider using the responses to future skills questionnaire to support with the sourcing of experiences of workplace. So you can look at certain questions that link into learners' jobs of interest, careers of interest, industries and sectors of interest, and then you can see what industry learners are interested in and then match that to workplace experience so that the learners are really benefiting from individualized, tailored support from yourself that maps nicely into sort of work experience as well, rather than just kind of generic work experience that they don't really get a lot of value from. So again, the future skills questionnaire can help massively with that. So finally, just touching on our benchmark 7 and 8, and then we will move into product. So again, here we've got the future skills questionnaire. So using the responses to gauge learners' understanding of pathways at those key transition points. If a learner doesn't know anything about particular routes, you can then start to create activities that will bridge the gap that you've identified there. Entering encounters for benchmark 7 into Compass Plus, certainly if applicable, consider again the prefix and appropriate activities with PAL or PAL, so that you can see then at a glance the opportunities that learn have had that they have had to engage with ATE providers. So there's a PAL tick box certainly when you're entering activity into benchmark 5, 6, or 7. It's very small, so please keep an eye out for it. There's a box that you can tick to say that this activity is PAL compliant. So again, ticking that will be really helpful, and making sure that any FE and HE providers that you are added into your careers partners are also in there, and making sure that any new partners that you feel can support with PAL compliant activities, that is ticked in there as well. And then finally, our benchmark 8 for the personal guidance. So using your future skills questionnaire responses for personal guidance meetings, you can link that into sort of learner reports, and they can then provide an overview of any careers activities, any FSQ responses, and interest and destination information that can then be used to generate conversations about next steps, strengths, and development areas as well. The interest and destination section in the learner profile, there's fields in both post 16 and post 18 destinations specifically to record personal guidance meetings. So whatever's been held, sorry, in relation to transition choices, you can then utilize the learner report and filters, and then you can extract that data to see what learners have had personal guidance interviews, what learners haven't, and where you can then provide that targeted outreach and support for them. Okay, so I'm just going to move into my demo account now. And I'm going to cover off a few of the areas that I've just explained in the quite detailed slide deck there. So where I'm going to start in Compass Plus is with the evaluation section. Now, hopefully everybody that is on the session today is aware of this screen here. So when you get logged on to Compass Plus, this is our dashboard page. And on the left-hand side, you have all of the key areas of functionality for Compass Plus. The first one that I'm going to sort of take you to is your Compass evaluations. And again, just a quick reminder to have those completed by the 31st of July this year. And really to just highlight that where they are housed is in this particular section here. So evaluations are completed termly, and then when you do that, you would come into this section here and then start your evaluation, work your way through each one of the 8 tabs at the top. If I just click this, each of the 8 tabs at the top, inputting all of the data and information, which will then reflect and be visible on your dashboard page in terms of your achievement towards your benchmarks. So really important that we complete the Compass evaluations termly, and that information in there is accurate and it is up to date. Now, just nodding in the direction of internal leadership review as well, so part of the careers impact system. If you haven't already engaged with internal leadership review, it is certainly something that we highly recommend doing. It is that self-reflection on your distributed leadership of careers within your institutions, in your schools, and really mapping against where you are in terms of maturity for having that distributed leadership of careers and careers provision embedded within your school. There are 3 sections that you would need to take note of. The first section, again, I'm not going to go into detail on these because we have webinars that are housed within the Help Centre that you could view to look at this in detail. But the first section is all around the preparatory information that you need to look at, what you need to do, how you need to gather the right people to take part in your leadership review. The second stage is printing out the maturity model, which you would be mapping your school against in terms of achievement towards different areas of the maturity model. And then the third section is how you would enter that key information into the product. Very similar to the way that you would input Compass evaluation information into Compass Plus, you would do exactly the same for the internal leadership review. Now, once that's done and once that is entered, all of your internal leadership reviews that you completed will be housed down here. You can very easily just click on view responses and it will take you to your latest internal leadership review information. It allows you to see where you are certainly, where your areas of strength are and you're doing really well within your distributed leadership of careers. But I'm going to say more importantly, with sort of a caveat of it's always nice to be able to know where you need to improve, and it can highlight the areas of action that you may need to work on as well. So looking at your low scoring areas, what do they mean? How can we move on? And how can we maybe include them in our strategic development plan within school? The internal leadership review really allows you to do that, and it is such a valuable piece of CPD for all of those people involved in careers within your institution. So highly recommended to take part in that. The next part that I'm going to go to, excuse me, is our careers partners section. Okay, so another really important part of Compass Plus. Just going to move everyone over to the right there. So where we can utilize the aspects of careers partners, if I just click into careers partners, this will now be all of your employers, all of your businesses that are saying they are going to support you with careers in your activities plan throughout the academic year. So you've got all of them in there. where I alluded to earlier around you've got the upload template and where you can then add in careers partners into your database, and including all of that rich information is in this section here. So in actions, we could add a careers partner. So if I just clicked into this, this is generic information around the business and the organization, and you can see here straight away, does this provider deliver activities that comply with PAL? So if you know that they do, it's a big tick in the box there. And again, that is going to come back to that updated statutory guidance that I mentioned earlier. And once you've got all the information input into there, you would add in the contact, and that would be your go-to person for that particular business and the employer. And it's really important here just to highlight the importance of having as many teachers and support staff on Compass Plus, so that they will come with their own networks, their own providers, experiences that they've had prior to maybe working with yourselves, and that they can then input this information in here for you as well. And what that then does is it grows your database, it grows your diverse spread of employers that can help you meet the individual needs of your learners, that you can find out through the Future Skills Questionnaire and those responses. We've also got the upload contact details here. So this would be the Excel template that again I mentioned earlier, and how you can then just get your support staff to input the information into this particular spreadsheet. You would then just drag and drop it into here, and then what would happen is that would import all of that information into your careers and your careers partner section. So really important that you do that, because then once you've got that really diverse spread of businesses and employers, you can then attach them to activities for your learners, and then you can really start to provide that targeted and tailored support for your learners based on their individual needs as well. Okay, so the next part that I'm going to go to is our learner profile. So I first of all just want to sort of highlight the difference between a learner report and a learner profile. So and also a learner reporting. So within our learner section here, this is where we would carry out our learner reporting. Okay, so this is where we would extract the information and data that is held within each of our individual learner profiles. Some of this data and information is pulled through from your MIS. Some of it is input from yourself. So certainly the sections here around subjects, industries of interest, job roles of interest, that will be input into the individual learner profile, of which we can see them all down here. So if I just looked at a particular learner, so let's look at Danielle Bain. If I click into his learner profile, all of the information that we have for Danielle is housed in this section here. So we can see all of the activities of which we've got these planned, and he's actually completed them all. So Danielle's had interactions and experiences of all of the benchmarks. If we keep scrolling down, we can see all of the different activities he's been part of that he's got planned. We can see if they've been completed or if they're cancelled. It would say absent in red if he'd missed those out. We can check to see which of these activities includes sort of parental engagement. So again, we're starting to tick that box from a statutory guidance and sort of requirement, so we can see what activities have been that have been included for parents. Moving along, we can look in the interest and destination section. Just a quick nod in the direction of if the learner's consented to long-term tracking, we will capture that here. And then all of these interests and these destinations, this is what we would use in the learner reporting section. So the more information that you can put in here, the better and the more detailed the reports are that you can then generate. We can keep scrolling down. And then certainly at this bottom section here, and this is a really important part, capturing that alumni information. So trying to build that alumni database. So these learners, if they had consented, these will be absolutely learners that I would be including in my careers partner section, because these are going to be people who you're going to be using to steer your careers activities, and really, again, maybe provide that inspiration and aspiration for your learners within the activities that you generate. So the alumni section, really, really important down there at the bottom as well. Moving up, we've got the questionnaire. So all of the information for Danielle, if he'd completed them, will be housed in here. So if he's completed them, which would be the ideal scenario that the learners complete them year on year, that information will be housed there. What you can do as well, we can look at how Danielle has responded. So rather than having the entire question and all the different responses, we could just click on answers only. And what we could see is if Danielle was answering in quite a negative manner, this will be highlighted here. And we could then think, you know, let's have that conversation with Danielle and understand why his responses are so negative. We've also got our personal information as well here. And again, this information drives some of the learner reporting functions as well. And it just houses all of that generic information around Danielle. Now we can also, from this section here, everyone, this is where I'm going to talk about the learner report now. So we can generate a learner report from this section here. We can also generate it from this section here, and they're both the same. And so what we can then do is if I just click on generate report, I could email all of the information that's housed in this learner report section straight to Danielle. So just type in the email there. If I already had an email address in there, that may well be Danielle's learner email for school. If I just click confirm, what I can then do is I can decide which areas of Danielle's learner profile I want to share with him. So I could share all of the information. I could just share some of the information. This type of information would be great to share also with teachers as well, you know, ahead of EHCP reviews, ahead of parents' evenings, that type of thing. So it's a really lovely new introduction to be able to make sure that learner information is accessible for learners, potentially for parents and carers at a later date as well. The questionnaires themselves, everybody, can be found in this part here. So the generation of the links and send them out to the learners could be done in this section. The other 4 areas are all the data analysis side of things. And what I want to just demonstrate is the power of FSQ and how it can then be used to support these other areas of Compass Plus as well. So clicking into the custom reporting section, okay, I'm going to look at just a GCSE years questionnaire. I'm going to look at this year's academic data. I'm going to focus on a particular question that asks the learners what jobs or careers are you interested in, and that fit nicely with your level of interest. So question 9 asks the learners exactly that. Do you have any ideas which jobs or careers fit closest to your interests and skills? Now, if I wanted to know what year 11s have answered for this particular question, I would just select my year 11. I'm moving all the way along here. I'm going to highlight, oh no, not this one. It is, sorry, question 10, beg your pardon. What types of jobs and jobs and careers fit closest to what you're interested in. If I, let's say, wanted to know what year 11s are interested in being a doctor, I would just highlight the doctor field. Again, you've got multiple options to select from. If I then scroll down, I can see that I've got 16 learners in year 11 that are saying to me they are interested in becoming a doctor. Now, I could do one or two things. I could download this report and see who those learners are, and then start to think, right, I'm going to address the individual needs of these learners. So I've got 16 learners there that I want to try and support. I could equally create a custom group for these learners, and I could just call these my year 11 doctors. And what if I could spell, that would help. What I could then do is create a custom group for these learners. I could now start to look at my activities plan. Do I have anything in there already that's supporting these 16 learners in terms of, are there any GPs, local hospitals, that type of thing that we can maybe create an event or an activity for? If there isn't, that's instantly highlighting a gap in my careers plan. I could also use this to look at my careers partners and see, do I have any businesses and employers that will support with this particular activity that I want to generate for my learners? If not, again, that's another way that I can critique my careers partners database and start to address the gaps there as well. And then allowing me to really individually support these learners through their authentic learner voice. So I've listened to what they've said within their response within FSQ, and I've used that to try and provide that targeted support for them. But I've also used it to help me analyze and evaluate my careers activities plan, and then also my careers partners database as well. Now, that was quite a whistle stop tour. So we've got just a further acknowledgement really here. Just hopefully the demo that I've just showed you there really does emphasize how important Compass Plus can be, how some of the different areas of functionality within Compass Plus can be used to support each other. And then again, this is just another acknowledgement from the DFE suggesting that Compass Plus is a great tool to help you personalize your careers plan, your careers interventions, and provide more targeted support for your learners on an individual basis. Now, I think, Francis, this next couple of slides is going to be over to yourself.
Lovely. Thanks again, Peter. So yeah, I just thought it would be really important to highlight the support following the webinar. As we said a couple of times, there's been a lot in the webinar, so you'll be able to review the recording. The link to the recording will be shared in the post-session comms. If you want to review the recording back to look at particular benchmarks, for example, or to look at particular parts of the demo, then you can do that. So that'll be shared in the post-session comms, but it will also be added to the Help Centre. So it will be on the Help Centre in the usual place, which is watch our previous recordings. So that is an article on the Help Centre. There will also be a copy of the recording on the Compass Plus and Statutory Guidance for Careers article as well. So keep your eye on that article from next week. So there will be 2 new resources added to that article as well. One will be a full mapping document that aligns Compass Plus functionality to key excerpts of the statutory guidance across all the benchmarks. So today's webinar is just a snippet. The full mapping document will have more functionality mapped to specific parts of the guidance, and the at a glance checklist guide for school leaders. That's the same thing. A version of that will be made available on that Help Centre article, where each element of careers leadership identified in the checklist is mapped against Compass Plus functionality. So we've produced 2 versions of the resource. We've got both of those resources available so that you can choose which one to engage with, based on the time that you have allocated to careers in your role. We appreciate that time is of a premium, so you might just have time to look at the at a glance checklist, but we would recommend having a look through the full document. As I said, that aligns the functionality to the statutory guidance. Next slide, please. Just to focus on some support for September 2025. So there's a lot happening, there's a lot that's been going on. The updated benchmarks and the statutory guidance are effective from September 2025. So we do have some additional tasks that we recommend completing. So this slide will be shared in the post-session comms as a PDF. And the actions there in black, in bold on the left-hand side, will be actively hyperlinked. So in the PDF, you just open it up, click on the link, and it will take you to the relevant place. So we recommend engaging with those 5 key things to get yourself ready for September 2025. That's it from me. Back to you, Peter.
Thank you, Francis. That's great. So really, everyone, just now to try and bring things to a close, like we mentioned at the start, we always leave time to be able to point you in the direction of any resource or training and support that you may need. So if I start at the bottom there, the enterprise coordinators or your hub support, these are an absolute godsend for you if you are wanting to understand how to use Compass Plus, embed it into your careers and into your curriculum at school. Please do reach out to them. If they don't have the answer, they have a wide network of schools that may be working in and around your area that are maybe being successful within certain areas of Compass Plus, and they can then put you in touch. So please reach out to them. We've got the self-paced online learning. It's free, where you can develop your confidence and competence in using the product, and you can do that like Francis just said earlier there. We know time is of a premium, so you can do that at your own leisure. And then the next 2, the webinars and the Help Centre article. So webinars are held within our Help Centre part of Compass Plus, and you can then sort of peruse and look back on all of the previous webinars where we've covered deep dives into all of the different areas of functionality within Compass Plus. You can also sign up for future webinars, again, if you want to develop your knowledge in that aspect. And then the help center articles, again, if you are new to using Compass Plus or you're quite experienced but you want to know how to access maybe further support, there are lots of help center articles in there that you can utilize. Okay, so just linking in now to sort of our training offer. So we've got the careers leaders, the fully funded careers leader training program, accessed via the QR code there. This program is put together to help you be the best careers leader that you can be. So appreciating that your time again is at a premium, that the landscape of careers changes so very often, you know, with benchmark updates, guidance updates, knowing what you need to do, when and where, what you can sort of leave to a later date will be really, really useful for you. And this training will certainly help towards that as well. So access that through the QR code on the left-hand side, and then you just sign up to the relevant training that meets your sort of diary requirements. Moving on to our wider training offer. Again, this is accessed via the QR code on the bottom left there, and this is part of the Careers and Enterprise Academy. So we've got lots of different training offers and lots of different areas of training that you may need access to. And those in the teal on the right hand side are just a few of them. And the importance being that once you've been on some of those sessions, that you encourage teachers, encourage support staff within your institution to also engage with that training, to make sure that, like we've got over here on this bottom right, that it's a careers is a whole set and responsibility. It's not just the responsibility of yourself. It should be that, and certainly this goes to the acknowledgement of the internal leadership review. It's the distributed leadership of careers and how everybody has a part to play within your schools and your institutions. So taking part in any of the training that you feel is relevant for yourself and then support staff will be hugely beneficial to yourselves. Okay, so just before I come back to Tamid and Francis to see if there are any outstanding questions, if I could get everybody that is on the session today to access the QR code and leave some feedback from today's session, we will be really, really grateful. And all of the feedback that we get from yourselves when you do come in these sessions, we really do acknowledge, and we sort of consider how we can then improve things based on that feedback. So as time is, again, of a premium, we want it to be as purposeful and impactful as possible when you come in these sessions. If there are things that you might have liked to have been covered today that weren't, or things that weren't covered in enough detail, please leave us the feedback for that, and we will absolutely reflect on and act on that. But similarly, if today's session has been informative, it's helped you understand where that part of the new statutory guidance, where it maps into Compass Plus and the key areas of functionality of Compass Plus, and how you can then acknowledge those new statutory guidance updates within product. If you found that it's been useful and we've gone through all of those areas of our learning objectives, please, leave the feedback to reflect that as well. It's always nice to know when we're doing things well and it's hitting the mark, and then we can always copy and paste and replicate that for future sessions for you, so that when you do come on, we do know that you get the most out of that time. So that leaves me just to sort of ask Tamid, Francis, are there any outstanding questions from today at all?
Pete, nothing on my end, no. Thank you.
Great stuff. Well, thank you for your support, Tamid. Francis, again, thank you for your support and the code delivery. It's been really much appreciated. And thank you everyone for joining us today. I really hope you found that useful, beneficial. Call to action would absolutely be go away now and start to try and map those new statutory guidance updates to your own usage of Compass Plus, and then really try to drive that forwards within your own institution. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope to see you on a webinar soon. Thanks now. Bye.